Be sure to use code TC1 on CSGO Diamonds to get yourself some free diamonds and also help support the channel. Thank you. To use my code, all you have to do is go over here to refer and earn, redeem referral code, and you're going to want to redeem my code TC1. It's going to get you some free diamonds. It's also going to help me and the channel out, so thanks for doing it. So CSGO Diamonds has introduced community role, and that's what we're really going to be focusing on in this video. So I'm going to try to give you some tips and just some things that I learned on CSGO Diamonds that I think I should pass on to you guys to hopefully help you out a little bit. Of course, this isn't guaranteed. This is gambling. Anything realistically can happen, but these are just some tips that I thought you guys should know and will hopefully help you out and will stop you from ripping all your skins like a lot of you tend to do. The number one rule for community role is really you shouldn't trust the chat. I see so many people getting into community role looking at the chat thinking these people know what they're talking about. Mostly the people in the chat are people who lost their skins already and are just trying to tell you what to bet, and realistically speaking, no one really knows, and a lot of the time, from what I've seen at least, the chat is pretty wrong. Just use your gut instincts and use common sense. Use common sense and see how many blues there were in the past, how many reds there were in the past, and kind of use that to determine what you want to go on. If there were like 3 blues in a row, you're probably going to want to go red. If there were 3 reds in a row, you're probably want to go blue. So on and so on. There can be trains, which is when there are a lot of one color, but it rarely happens, and honestly you want to bet against it if they're gonna go in like 3 times in a row. It honestly just helps you out, and you're honestly gonna have a better shot of winning. Number 2 is to just set a limit overall. It's really important to set a limit for yourself when you're going on diamonds. My friend, actually, he went from $400 to $5,000 on dice roll on CSGO Diamonds, and what ended up happening is he ended up betting it all away because he really just couldn't stop. He thought he could keep winning and keep winning and keep winning. When you make enough, you honestly need to stop. So before you even bet, it's probably a good idea to set yourself a limit and see how much profit you want to make. That way you know when to stop. The best advice though is when you reach that limit, or withdraw whatever you put in. So let's say you start with $50 and you get all the way to your limit, which is $100. Take out $50 worth of skins. That way, even if you do lose it all, you still have what you initially put in, and you won't be completely ass hurt if you end up losing. This has saved me many times as I've gone over my limit and then I withdraw what I initially put in, and then when I lose, I don't feel as bad because you can just put the other things back in. Another tip I have for you guys is to always put something on yellow. So if it does hit yellow, which is very rare, you get 95 times what you put in. So what I recommend is every time you go in, if you have a little bit of money, like you have over, let's say like 50 diamonds, every time you go in, put one on yellow as well as whatever you're putting in. So let's say you're putting like 3 on red. So what you're going to want to put 3 on red and then 1 on yellow, because you never want to not hit yellow. Because normally what's going to happen is it's eventually going to hit yellow and you're going to get 95 times what you put in. And you know what? That is really, really good. You just don't want to be caught without putting anything on yellow when it eventually does, because you're going to feel pretty fucking stupid when that happens. The last tip isn't really for community role, but it's for the dice game. If you're going to play dice, do not do automatic. It just really never works out, and you always end up losing a lot of money. I know some people have used it successfully, but for the most part, it seems like a lot of people end up losing a lot of money on automatic. Sometimes you'll just forget that it's on there, and in general, it seems like it doesn't really work the way that you would want it to. So I recommend against using automatic. It's definitely not my preferred method. If you are going to play dice, there's like a whole nother method I could get into in another video, which is what I think I'm going to do.